Everything on here is an Airsoft toy. Like my new sign, just did this one. It's kind of like replaced the other one. I don't know where I put that one now. The other one said, "This is Airsoft." Even though I put that sign in the last few videos, someone who was reviewing the video at YouTube said, right, this is demonetized. So I'm hoping that these are Airsoft toys. We'll maybe lay that out a bit more clearly. We'll see. But this today, guys, is going to be an unboxing, and it is going to be an initial review of a brand that I've not really featured on this channel before. Charlie's here to say hi. This is from WE-TECH. So WE-TECH, generally, I would say, is a brand I've stayed away from quite a bit. Like, I've had some kind of good experiences with them. I know they can kind of make very cool looking replicas, some of which work really well, some of which don't work that well, some of which break very fast and easily, even though they start off working very well. So it's one of those brands that I just don't know a huge amount about, and from what I've heard and from my experience with them, it's very, very hit or miss. Now, this is actually a replica. Hold on, I'm just going to close this curtain a bit more. Let's get some of that brightness off your screens, if that helps. So this actually is a brand, sorry, a replica that I received in a mystery box probably about 2 years ago. It was one of those ones where I got it. I think it was in a mystery box. If you guys can remember or go back and watch the videos, I'd be very impressed. But I think it was from Tiger111HK, who I said to them, hey, here's $1,000, give me a mystery box. You don't do mystery boxes, but I'd love to like do like a kind of overseas one. And I like gas blowbacks, so let me know kind of what you can do. They sent me a load of stuff, and this was one of them. And I opened it, and I was like, I don't really know about this. I kind of put it on the side. When I came to sell a lot of the AEGs that I have, I then kind of was like, oh, actually, I'm not going to sell this. It is a gas blowback. I could eventually see myself doing something with this. And what this is the WE-TECH MSK Carbine. So it is kind of like your Masada is kind of like what the kind of like make is here. So I'll show you guys what it is like and what it looks like. But in this video, I'm going to unbox it. We're going to give you my like close up, my opinions of it. And then we're also going to do something which is test it. I'm going to get the Chrono out and we're going to see how it's firing, if it fires, because it's been a while since I've used it. Box isn't in great condition, and actually their packaging has got a lot to be desired. I think you'll agree. But this is the thing of what it is. It's actually hard to find like the actual like name of this thing. On Evike right now, it's called the WE-TECH MSK Carbine Airsoft Gas Blowback GBB Gas Blowback Rifle. Priced at $419. When I looked at the reviews on this, it actually was pretty good. Like a lot of people were like, wow, that's, you know, it's a good replica. I think it's got 4 out of 5 stars and 17 customer reviews. So that's not too bad generally, I would say, in terms of like a WE-TECH product. I was expecting it to be like, okay, this thing is dog something, and then it's going to need a bit of work to get it working pretty well. But it seems like people are saying actually this thing kind of fires pretty hard and is very, very loud. So I took this out briefly last night just to make sure it was the right thing before I kind of opened it and did the video. But I would say straight away, like the quality of it is fine. It's not amazing. I'd say the upper, in terms of this like metal upper, is a lot better than this polymer lower. The polymer lower is fine, but it does kind of it does seem a little bit cheap, just in terms of like the plastic of what it's made from. My main issue with this is the fire selector. Again, it's kind of very cheap and it is so hard to push it. And I think I could like lube it up a bit and like push it, but it is ambidextrous. And so you've got safe, semi, and then full auto. But trying to actually switch between them or put it on safe is like a real effort. So I don't know if this is just this one that I've got, but that again kind of adds to me to like slightly the cheapness of it. I think the rail system on this is kind of cool because it is kind of like that M-LOK looking design, and it is like fairly, you know, lightweight considering like the size and the length of this replica. It's got these kind of laser cuts in them. And then if you look here, it actually has all of these little screw holes, and the screw holes there allow you to attach Picatinny rail segments. So it's almost like you can attach as many things to it as you want, and it does have like a 3, 6, 9 and in between angles as well. So you kind of have a nice feeling handrail, and then it also has that option to like put rail segments where you want them and where you don't. I don't know why you would run this instead of M-LOK in kind of like modern day actual rifles, but it's not bad. And actually, I do quite like the girth of it. It's got a very, very long barrel. So you can see here, it's got this horrible orange flash hider on it. I will obviously take that off and I'll change it out for something in this video. But it is a very long barrel. So if you're going to run this suppressed or anything like that, it's not going to be great. Or it's just going to be very, very long. Like you can see here. In fact, I could, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to say I could put this on, but I'll show you the length of what this will be. I mean, as a DMR, and I think this thing could lend itself quite well to a DMR platform. If we end up testing it and it shoots well, like that's kind of the length you're looking at. So that's a pretty long boy. You probably will agree. I'll give you some close-ups just on the like actual finish of this, because that's probably a lot better for you guys. If you're thinking about buying it, then you can actually like properly get an idea here of like what it's like. So this actual rail is pretty nice. It's that metal design. The charging handle here isn't too bad. If I take it off safe, if I can, and it does make quite a cool noise. Let me just do this here. Like it's a kind of clack that it kind of does. It's a little bit wiggly, so you do have some wiggle there. But this is all kind of metal. This actually was shaking a little bit when I got the replica out of the box yesterday. I just tightened these screws here. There's one there and there's one there. And then I just tightened this base screw. Getting the actual handrail off isn't too hard. You're basically just removing the takedown pin. And then when you've got the upper separated, you can just remove this roll pin here. Or you probably could do it without that. You just remove the roll pin and then undo these screws and you can just slide it straight off. So that's not too bad. You can kind of see here what I mean about the polymer. It's just not great. I haven't even looked in here. And again, like you can kind of tell it with this as well. Okay, it's kind of like a cool plug there. So you can put batteries in there. That's quite nice that they have that. But again, it's like, put it in the right way, yeah. It is just a little bit, just a little bit plastic. It doesn't have any markings on it either, and that's something that I now kind of like. There is a difference just in terms of the color between the upper and the lower. It's got this SCAR style stock on it, which has a QD sling mount in it, which is great. So you can use that. Adjustability, you can go with a pretty massive adjustment that way, and then obviously you can fold it. In terms of releasing this piece, I need to pull this out slightly, and then I think you rock it back. It kind of shows you here how you're supposed to do it, but it looks to me like I'm struggling with this because it's just a bit of cheap plastic. There we go. Okay, so it's just a bit cheap, the plastic, and that's just a little bit stuck there. So I can kind of do that. I could adjust this in, and then you've got a slightly, I mean, it's just not great. You've got a slightly raised cheek weld there, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of the actual like SCAR stock. For me, it's just pretty ugly. So I'm not exactly like, you know, liking it either way. But yeah, obviously you do have the big advantage of folding it. Again, I don't really know the point of that with this because it is very long in the barrel. It's not like you're making it that compact by doing it, so I wouldn't see much advantage. It's not like you're going to stick it in a small bag. The bag that it comes with, I was quite weirded out by this. So not weirded out. In fact, is it KY Airsoft that it came from? It may have been KY Airsoft that it actually came from the mystery box. But it comes with a load of attachments. So these are all the rail segments. So if I wanted to add rail segments on, I can do it wherever I can attach a screw through these holes. So here, here, here. I actually attached one segment last night just to test it out, which I put on here. Because actually, if I'm going to run a flashlight there, that's probably where I'm going to mount it. So I just thought it would be quite cool to test that out. They've also given me, I presume this is like a spring for the actual bolt carrier group, but it's very, very small. So I'm not entirely sure what that is. And I don't know if this comes with the replica or if they've just kind of like included that as part of it. It comes with a flash hider, which is kind of cool, actually. That's quite a cool design, this flash hider. So it's kind of got the like muzzle brake in the middle of it, and then it's got the tri-lug or 3-prong things here. There's some shims there with a Allen key. So if I've got the Allen key, I'll put this on. That's too small. Yeah, if we've got the Allen key, I'll put it on. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this. So we'll test it in this video, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts at the end. But it's one of those where I'm like, okay, maybe I would keep it, or maybe I would just sell it or give it away. It is a bit different, and that's one thing I would say is I do quite like how this is like, I don't really see them out there, you know. I feel like they had like a time where people liked them, and I do like the charging handle being there. In terms of function of what you're doing here, so hold on, that's what it looks like, which is a lot cooler for sure. It's fairly lightweight for the size of it. It's not a light gun, it's bulky, but it is fairly lightweight just for the size. It's obviously got I've gone through the safety selector, sorry, the fire selector. It's got ambidextrous controls everywhere. So you have an ambidextrous mag release here. So the mag releases, again, like they're kind of cheap plastic. Like I'll show you on this bit here. Like, you know, when you see like ridges in stuff, like here, you've kind of got like that plastic line in the middle of them. And this thing works fine, but I think it's one of those where it probably needs a bit of wearing in to get properly good. And it's just very indescript. You know, it's just very like, looks a bit kind of like cheap. The actual bolt here is released with this bolt release, which I actually really like as well, just ergonomics wise. Oh, if I have my hand in the way. So you can push it up with your finger, with your forefinger, and then you might have to have kind of longer hands to do it, but you could also just release it, because again, it's ambidextrous. So you've got the release there. It's not the fastest travel on the bolt there. You can see, I feel like that's getting slower as well. I need to lube this thing up. Look. I'm going to put a little bit of lubricant in there. One sec. I'm just going to pause it. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of lubricant in here because it is super dry. And I feel like if we're going to test it, then I probably need to do that. It does have 556 written on the bolt. Just put a little bit on this rail here. I think where else I can lubricate this thing. Yeah, it's really getting stuck now. See that? There we go. Oh, it's like here. If I don't, see there? Need to shake it to get it out. It's actually got quite a good air seal though. You can see here. If I push it down, then the nozzle disengages. So that's a good sign for hopefully how it's going to work. Maybe when I fired this a bit. You could also, I think, switch this over to make it left. You can move the charging handle. So there's also a rail here for the charging handle to run. So you could just take it from this side, switch it straight over. What else do they give us in here? So they've given us the iron sights on here, which I don't think I'm going to run. I'm actually going to put on this Victor Optics sight that I had lying around. And that is about it. That's all they're giving us there. So I'm going to put this stuff away because we don't need this for now. I probably will put the iron sights on there, but you know how to put iron sights on. In fact, I'll just show you what they look like because that's probably interesting. This thing's pretty massive. They are pretty solid metal in terms of how they feel. Same thing with the flash hider. It definitely feels solid. And now I don't know how to get this thing down. Okay, you have to push it in to then try. Okay, well, I can't actually get this thing to fold down now. It's probably easier if it's on the replica, but that's something to bear in mind. And then same with this guy. Okay, yeah, so you need to push this out, it looks like, and then you can rotate. But that's a pretty big front sight as well. This is, again, just super, super tight. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So I've got those to lay flat. Let's put this back in here. And then that's all that you've got coming with it. So the actual price of this is $419. So it's cheaper end for a replica in terms of like a full AR style replica, but not cheap. Like it's still an expensive airsoft gun if you're going to buy an airsoft gun. And obviously then you're having to buy the mags, and they do a few different versions of the mags. P mags, which is this style. And apparently these cooldown wise aren't great. Like they have, if you're firing them a lot, they need to heat up again because they'll kind of just get too cold too quickly. So that's again just something I've read on the site. I only have this one mag. Again, it's one of those things where I'm debating, should I buy more? Because they are about $50 per mag. So pretty much in line with like what you're going to spend on a mag. You're not thinking, oh wait, this is like this is WE-TECH, so it's going to be a lot cheaper. They also have a dry fire function, it looks like, where you can push down this little nodule, slide that back, and then you can dry fire it, push that forward, very similar to the VFC system. And then it's quite a weird like feed lips on the actual mag, very like square, sticking up in the air. I don't really know. I tried to load them and I think it's just literally like a straight download. We'll try that again, or I might have to just hand load them because that might be what we have to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do quickly, I think if I do keep this, I am going to keep it. That's better. I'm going to keep it more as a DMR. So what I'll probably do is run some kind of LPVO on here. This is a Victor Optics one, which I have. I've never really used. I can't remember. I bought it for a replica and then ended up not using it. The actual, like, it's actually very, very clear, like the lens on it. And I think these are a bit cheaper. It's quite weird though. You're doing the throw lever almost the opposite way to what this is. This is a 1:4 in terms of magnification. The actual model is the Victor Optics X4 1:4x20 IR. That's what they say, and it's a product of Vector Optics. So it's Victor Optics, a product of Vector Optics, which is very, very confusing. Okay, so I'm going to stick it on. We'll go probably around there. One thing I'm already going to say is if I am going to use this optic, I am most definitely going to put a higher riser on it. You can let me know in the comments below like what you think in terms of the look of it. But it's actually not bad here. But I do think with Face Pro on, it's going to need to be probably like an extra ½ an inch higher. It's a very small, like actual LPVO, like very thin and just kind of like very, very like small and compact. So I do kind of like it in a way, but I don't know if it fits this big gun that much. I feel like something a bit bigger on here might look a lot cooler. But for airsoft, I think this like 1:4 is perfect. I don't think I'm going to need more than 4x unless it's just kind of like scoping something out. Shooting more than 4x is very, very difficult. So I don't think it's going to be something that I would use much, even though I do have larger optics on other replicas. Okay, so if I just go, no, that's not going. Okay. Okay, so it's a front load. Let's see if this little attachment piece on here helps. Like, it's very, very awkward, like with this, with how the high that is. It's just not. I'm gonna have to like hand load this, I think. I'm sure there is an adapter that you can get, or a speed loader that might. Oh, there you go. Good job. But I'm gonna load some rounds in here. I put some Swiss Arms gas in here, some of the 150 PSI green gas with no. I'll get the bottle so you guys can see which one it is. In terms of upgrades as well, like if I keep it, it's probably going to be a change out the hop-up bucking and change out the inner barrel. And I need to work out what this takes, because I know it'll take WE-TECH parts, but does that mean it's the same as a regular gas blowback, or is that going to be different? Okay, so that's some BBs in there. I'm going to quickly grab the gas so you guys can see what that looks like. So this is the green gas, or it's the green gas in an orange can, 150 PSI. It's got no silicone in it. I like that because it just doesn't put that green gas dirt everywhere. Okay, that's going to fill it. I've already had some gas in there, so that's me doing that. I need some eye protection. Let's grab these glasses and let's check out what this is like. Okay, so I'm charging it. It is very, very satisfying charging it for sure. And I'll give you guys an idea of what this sounds like. Okay, this thing is so loud, so loud. Yeah, this thing is nuts. That's probably one of the loudest replicas I've ever heard. It might actually, like you can see the effect on Charlie. It might actually rival my Sega 12 in terms of like the noise of it. Full auto, let's see what the rate of fire is like. Okay, and it's pretty damn fast. Like I would say just in terms of like picking this thing up and using it, already I'm like, okay, maybe this is something I'm gonna keep. Okay, so let's quickly do some chrono just to finish up so you guys can see what that's like. But I don't know if that came across on camera, but this thing's like, it's violent. It's not like insane recoil, but it's just like super loud. It seems like this like bolt in here is just, I don't know if it's got a lot of weight behind it or whatever it is. So I've got 0.25 gram BBs in here just because that's what I've been using. Like I hate this fire selector. It's going to be one thing that's like a pet peeve. Okay, so power. Okay, so it's firing at 433 FPS on 0.25s. Let me just work out what that is, because I think that's about 500 FPS, which would explain why that is so violent then. FPS, in terms of joules, it's a 2.18 joule. This is definitely going to need an end pass in it, and I'm not going to be able to use it. I mean, that's got to be, let's go with an FPS chart. Let me just see what that is. I actually quite like the Novrich one. It's like, not to give a shout out to Novrich or anything, but that's kind of my favorite one to use. Okay, so if we are looking at joules, no, this is just giving me the chart of this. So if I'm looking at 433 FPS on a 0.25, that's 2.15, what is it, 2.18 joules, which is, hold on, 2.18 joules on a 0.2 gram is firing at 480. So it's 490 FPS. Yeah, just about 485 FPS. So it's firing at 500 FPS out of the box on a 0.2. Okay, let me just see consistency. So that's 433, 428, 404, 418, 429. Okay, so it jumped around not about 10 FPS, other than that one which just seemed to drop down to 400. It was just an odd one, so I don't know if that's just because of that. But let's do a quick check on the rounds per second. This is a horrible thing to reload. I'm not going to do too much chronoing just because of that, because I think you're going to have to change. Unless you're running this as a DMR. And to be honest, as a DMR right now, it's probably firing pretty good. I would probably run like 0.48s or 0.43s minimum in it, and then have it as a DMR. But you're going to need to put a pretty sweet hop up rubber in there. Let's just put a couple more. But to be honest, I'm hoping it kind of is getting across on camera like how loud it is. Because if I buy like, you know, like 2 or 3 extra mags for it, and I'll probably do a test just on distance. I don't have like, my garden here is not massive, as in like the length and distance I don't have. So it's kind of like I can kind of get an idea of like how accurate it is at a certain distance. But for DMRs and stuff like this, it is a lot harder to get that. Okay, let's just turn this off. I'm going to release the bolt with my little, hear that? And then I'm going to do a test, if I can get it to full auto, of the rounds per second, which is going to be, that wasn't right. Okay, so it's saying 8.3 is the rounds per second. Oh, sorry, 13 rounds per second. So that's kind of what that was like there. I feel like it was faster before. 8.3. And then that last BB apparently is firing at 369 feet per second on a 0.25. So a bit of drop off. You're looking at what, 50 FPS drop off when I'm doing a full auto. So you're going from 2.18 joules down to 1.6 joules. But guys, yeah, I mean, like, again, I got locked back on that. It felt like it was a little bit inconsistent there. I was kind of like trying to, Charlie wants to come and say hi. Are you? Oh, hi. It was a little bit inconsistent just in terms of like when I was pulling the trigger at the end there. It felt like I got a little bit of a stall, but I was kind of like going off and on. By the way, look how big this guy's got. He used to be like a tiny little puppy, and now he's like a proper dog, like, kind of. I mean, he's still a puppy, but he's definitely getting pretty big. And then look at the paws. Like, his paws are huge. So, well, for a dog of this size. So I don't know if he's going to get a lot bigger, but he's super affectionate. All he wants to do is like hug you, kiss you. If he gets in bed, will just wrap himself around your head. It's kind of like his thing to do. He just wants to be as close to you as possible at all times. He actually hasn't done that before. So I think this WE-TECH MSK MSK is might be scaring him a little bit, because he's normally very good with any replicas when I'm firing them. The other thing is he doesn't bark, and I don't know if that's going to start soon, but he just hasn't started barking. So I'm a big fan of this dog, as you can probably tell. He's just very cute. He's a very good little dog. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As I said, like, I don't know if I'd recommend this, but it's definitely something I'm not going to get rid of straight away. I'm probably going to get a couple more mags for it. I'm going to test it at some range. I'll put an end pass in it and probably some a barrel and a rubber. If I end up not liking it, I'll probably give it away or sell it. And yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. I don't really like this stock, so I might see if there's a different stock I can put on there. If you want me to build this out fully, like properly put like a riser, like an optic, either this optic with higher riser on it or like some different attachments on it, then definitely let me know that. If you've got no interest in it, then don't let me know that, and I just won't do it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you all very soon. Charlie and I say goodbye. Goodbye.